A very good evening and a warm welcome yet again to Uctv News. My name is Nora Sende and thank you so much for tuning in. It is Monday the 28th of October 2024. Thank you for staying with us. In our newscast this evening, in an effort to control and prevent the spread of mpox among learners, the Uganda National Examination Board has called upon the heads of primary living examination centers to strictly follow the standard operating procedures or SOPs set by the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education as this year's candidates begin their exams next week.
We want to remind the heads of centers, UCE centers, that they need to abide by the SOPs sent out for the control and prevention of mpox disease that was given by the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health. As a basic, the schools should ensure there's clean washing water as well as soap or sanitizer outside examination rooms, and also they need to ensure that they do clean the tables as regularly as possible, which are used by all the people like when during the examination. The parents are also encouraged where possible to attend the briefing sessions for their candidates at the schools where the learners are going to be doing examinations from. After the briefing, there will be no teaching or coaching of candidates once the briefing of candidates has taken place, and thereafter any teaching or coaching will be regarded as a malpractice. In Mityana, Grade 1 Magistrate remanded 3 teachers to Namkozi Prison until October 29, 2024 for being in possession of unauthorized materials related to examinations. The trio, Onyoto Thomas of Hillside Kalonga SS, Sechiranda David and Kambugu Livingstone of Bujobi SS in Mityana were all arrested during the chemistry practical last week for the new curriculum. The 3 were allegedly found by UNEP Scout with a copy of the chemistry examination paper inside a laboratory where preparations were being made for the candidates. The accused appeared in court for plea taking on 22nd and pleaded not guilty. They applied for bail, which was not granted by the magistrate due to lack of sureties. However, one of the accused had sureties whose documents had to be verified. Relatedly, as they were leaving the court, the sureties were overheard saying that they had given the magistrate a bribe, and as such, the magistrate who overheard them ordered for their arrest. They were arrested and they are due to appear before court this morning to answer to charges of bribery.
The Uganda Police Force has called upon the public, especially residents and businesses along the northern bypass and major highways, to work closely with security agencies to address the crimes linked to the use of narcotics in their communities. Now, this appeal follows the recent operation in which 47 youths suspected of harassing motorists along the northern bypass were arrested in different parts of Kampala and Wakiso.
The Kampala Metropolitan Police, together with other sister security agencies, have yet again launched operations against a string of organized criminals, particularly those suspected to be narcotics users or drug abusers, within the areas along highways and the northern bypass stretch. These are suspected to be terrorizing and robbing motorists and other random citizens. According to the police spokesperson, SP Rusoke Chituma, police has so far netted 47 suspects, confiscated narcotic substances, and other exhibits.
We are carrying out these operations, like I earlier communicated. We are having a challenge of very many youths who have turned to drugs, and when they consume these drugs, especially marijuana, the last thing you hear is them waylaying people who are moving to their businesses in hours, a bit of late hours, especially beginning with 10 p.m., then also very early in the morning.
It's upon this ground that he unveiled their plan of expanding the same operations beyond the outskirts of Kampala to the regional level, as he implored members of the public to closely cooperate with security agencies in ensuring the success of these operations.
Our biggest appeal to people is that all these operations can only be successful with your input. We have time and again communicated that, like for instance, along the northern bypass, there are homes overseeing the bypass. These suspicious youths can be seen and detected. We have people who are engaged in flower businesses. these youths can be detected. This information should be discreetly passed on to security agencies so that we arrest these potential offenders or suspects before they cause harm to our citizens. Without your assistance, it becomes very hard for us.
Meanwhile, the Directorate of Interpan International Relations has successfully repatriated the Indian national, identified as Mukesh Kumar Meneria, a professional chef who has been suspected to have been kidnapped to Uganda by his Swiss bosses close to 3 months ago.
Mukesh Kumar Meneria was found and was released on bond/bail by the police in Dar es Salaam. On the 23rd October 2024, the Tanzanian police handed him to the Uganda police force, and on the 24th October 2024, he was brought back to Uganda as a victim of crime. The Uganda police force will engage the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Uganda, and the diplomatic mission in Uganda to work on the modality of repatriating Mukesh Kumar Meneria to the country of his choice.
Following a Swiss National Central Bureau request, Ugandan authorities searched for him, leading to his discovery in Tanzania, where he was detained on theft charges leveled against him by his Swiss bosses. Through Interpol cooperation, Meneria was repatriated to Uganda and is now under police guardianship, awaiting diplomatic arrangements for his return to a country of his choice. Joseph Kabale, UCTV News.
The National Unity Platform, also known as NUP, has endorsed Salim Sultan Tana as its candidate for the Kisoro District Woman MP by-election following the passing of the former MP and State Minister of Defense and Veterinary Affairs, Sarah Mateke, last month due to a heart attack. Now, NUP Secretary General David Louis Lubongoya criticized the Electoral Commission of allotting only 12 days for campaigns, calling the time frame inadequate for effective outreach.
People power, our power, kunga Kisoro kunga, kunga Western Uganda kunga. Yeah, thank you very much. So there we go with our official candidate.
The people of Kisoro have come here as your sister, your daughter, the people from Mufumbira, Abafumbira, the Bachimbiri communities. I stand before you with a lot of humility and pride to be called your daughter. Kisoro district, for the longest time, it's been 40 years, over 40 years, Kisoro has given full support to NRM, where even they have a saying of Ijana ku Ijana. Ijana ku Ijana means 100% NRM. But we can see the people of Kisoro, the number of pledges that this government has given us. We can see, you all know that Kisoro is a tourism hub, where in Mountain Mugahinga, we have the largest number of gorillas in the whole world. So Kisoro speaks for itself, even without an introduction. But if you go, in 2006, they promised us tourism roads. But as we speak, the tourism roads are in a very bad condition. If you look at our roads, this is not only going to benefit the tourism industry, but also the traders, because we are known as farmers. When it rains in these tourism roads, you really wonder if this is a tourism hub that we should be. Because if you have visited Kisoro, you can see the beauty of Kisoro district.
Bachimanyi bulungi nnyo nti singa tufuna ekiseera ekimala n'abantu b'Ekisolo ne tutuuka mu buli kitundu kyonna kyonna mu district eyo, baba tebalina kye balimba bantu, kubanga bo batambulira ku bulimba byabadde ayogerako kandidate waffe ijana ku ijana. Bagenda ne basiriwaza abantu, tebabawa services. Mwalaba juzi twagendayo president waffe bwe yakyalira abantu beeyo abatwa, nasanga nga tebalina tanks tebalina mazzi, tebalina kyakozesa kyonna kyonna. Era ne tugenda ne tubadde balingira tanka n'emmere n'ebirala bwe bityo. Kaakati abantu abo ne tugezaako okubagula amaaso. Kati kyova olaba batuwa period ntono nnyo eyo campaigninga kubanga tebaagala tutuuke eri abantu tubazuukuse tubagule amaaso. Naye kyenjagala obakakasa tugenda kubeerayo era tubasaba mwenna abasobola mugende mubeere ekisolo at least mukole ekintu kimu kyonna ekyokuzibula bano abantu amaaso okulaba nti ijana ku ijana tekola. Kubanga ijana ku ijana kudirukinga abantu tebalina byakulya ng'abantu tebalina mayumba tebalina we basula abaana tebasoma. Eyo district is one of the poorest districts in Uganda.
Now, the Forum for Democratic Change, FDC, has proposed decentralizing fire brigade units to sub-districts to improve emergency response and accessibility. The deputy spokesperson, Walid Lubega, speaking at the party headquarters in Janankumbi, emphasized that localizing fire services would reduce response times and enhance effectiveness in combating fires.
We are concerned that the government has failed to address the systemic issues regarding management. For us as FDC, we propose that government should decentralize the issue of fire brigade units to sub-districts. Sub-districts we mean like constituencies. We believe that the fire brigade units at constituency level, it will make services near to the people and it will enhance the emergency response and accessibility. Because we are proposing this coming from the experience and the incident, that happened in Chikogwa, whereby it took almost 1.5 hours for fire brigade to reach, fire brigade to track all the traffic jam from Kampala, Nansana up to Chikogwa. If we had a fire station at maybe Nansana municipality headquarters, we believe the situation will be different. The number of people that we lost would have been saved because of the fire, the rapid response unit of the fire, and even the properties that were destroyed because a number of people are counting losses out after this incident. So we believe that this will help to ensure more services that are localized, and it will reduce on the response times and improve on effectiveness in combating fire. We believe fire stations closer to the communities can respond swiftly to emergencies, saving lives and property, and also localized fire services can navigate familiar terrains. For example, a fire brigade from Kampala, from the fire station in town, may not know the terrain between the terrain of Chikogwa. So if we had a localized one, it would be familiar. So reaching and also reaching to the remote areas with efficiency, for us as FDC, we further contain that decentralized units will foster stronger community ties, promoting fire safety awareness and prevention.
Now, the National Unity Platform new President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu has spoken out against the proposed Coffee Amendment Bill, which seeks to dissolve the Uganda Coffee Development Authority. Kyagulanyi claims the bill is unfairly targets the Buganda community, aiming to impoverish them, and urge all peace-loving Ugandans to reject the amendment to return Uganda Coffee Development Authority to the Ministry of Agriculture and More Industries and Fisheries.
This bill, ladies and gentlemen, I will be crude. This bill is intended to punish the people of Uganda and the people of Bugishu and all those coffee growers for voting Museveni out. They are looking for all avenues where you earn a coin and they want to steal for it. What they have done to vanilla, what they are doing to the lakes and all the water bodies is what they want to do to the coffee. And if you don't fight back, they will succeed. You remember these people wanted to take your land by bringing an amendment to ensure that when the government, and you know the government is Museveni, that when the government wants your land, they first take it and then tell you how much they'll pay you. If you didn't fight, you would have lost the land. If you don't fight this time, you're in big trouble. So this is a way of clamping down on you. It is intended to impoverish you because poor people will always be beggars. That is the intention. The coffee industry, ladies and gentlemen, here in Uganda is sustaining more than 2 million families. Did you say 2.5? Yeah, in Uganda. 12 or 2? 12 families. Wow, not 2 hours wrong. 12 million families are surviving on coffee. And now somebody wants to take them on their knees using this bill. And if you don't fight, my friends, that's exactly what you are facing. I request you to reject it firmly. But most importantly, and this is very important, please note it, that those that are presenting that bill and those that are speaking for that bill are not innocent. They are not only expressing an opinion. No, this attack is a crime. It's a crime on you. Impoverishing people deliberately is a crime. It's supposed to be a crime. And these people speaking for that bill, for that deliberate effort to impoverish our people, they are not innocent. They are not only expressing an opinion. They are part of that project. They are part of that plan. They have a duty. Their role is just to speak. Their role is a propaganda role. You need to understand this. In every attack on a people, everyone has a role. The military has a role to brutalize you. The so-called intellectuals have a role to go on TV, put on ties, and speak a lot of intellectual dishonesty to sanitize it. So this is an attack on people which will have dire consequences if you don't fight back. And those people speaking for it should be equally culpable. They are not innocent. So treat them just like they are masters because they are serving a role. Their role is a propaganda role, and that propaganda role is very, very effective in breaking a people.
Well, it's now time for a break. When we return, UCTV News continues.
UCTV, good news for all.
Welcome to Seeds of Success. My name is Rwanga Godfrey. Seeds of Success, we talk about business environment.
If you want to be a millionaire, work for money. But billionaires work for wealth.
Social affairs.
Whom to blame via characters and talents? Is it tertiary institutions or humanity within the human beings?
And other topical issues. Don't miss on UCTV, good news for all.
Thank you for staying with us on UCTV. Now moving on, the government of Uganda has reaffirmed its commitment in tackling care and support challenges, particularly the huge burden carried by women and girls. Speaking ahead of the International Day of Care and Support to be observed tomorrow, that's October 29th, the State Minister for Gender and Culture Affairs, Peace Mutuzo, highlighted the need to transform care systems to advance sustainable development goals.
Many people are excluded from the society due to the lack of access to quality care and support and are denied their autonomy. Current care and support systems are failing to support sustainable and resilient societies and economies. Care and support systems must be based on human rights and gender, disability, and age responsive. Transmission of care and support systems is a key lever for sustainable development gender equality, social justice, and an inclusive society that leaves no one behind. To realize these ambitions, we must recognize, reduce, and redistribute unpaid care work and renew paid care workers with securing access to quality care and support by recipients. This is a need to ensure representation of paid care work and paid caregivers and recipients of care and support in decision making. I thank you.
Now, as Uganda prepares for the Uganda National Dialogue on Social Protection, the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has underscored the essential role of social protection in advancing human capital development. Scheduled for Wednesday, October the 30th at the Kampala Serena Hotel, the event will spotlight key government-led social protection initiatives aimed at tackling poverty, malnutrition, unemployment, and limited social security coverage.
The coverage of social protection being quite very low. According to the data that we have, at least only 2.8% of the vulnerable Ugandans are covered by one social protection program, and this of course is quite very low and is below the sub-Saharan average of 17%. But we also note that there are other aspects of the life cycle, such as vulnerabilities relating to persons with disabilities that don't have a particular specific intervention other than the special grant for persons with disabilities. But also, we also note that majority of our sector is informal, with about 70 to 80% of the persons in the informal sector, but our coverage for social security is largely for the formal sector. We note that the NSSF, which has about 2.2 million savers, is only for persons in the formal sector, and those in the informal sector have largely not been covered by most social protection across the country. To address some of the challenges that we have, one of the things that the ministry has done is to adopt a life cycle programming to social protection. And the life cycle means looking at a human being from the time they're born to the time they leave this world. And we have in the National Development Plan 4 sponsored a number of interventions to expand the scope and coverage of social protection. One of them is, one, for the children, is to address specifically malnutrition through implementing nutrition-sensitive and specific social protection interventions. But we're also looking at lowering the age for the older persons under the Senior Citizens Grant, or call it the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment. But also government is looking towards working with other stakeholders to develop specific social protection products for the informal sector, as well as strengthening the policy and legal framework for social protection, with specifically on improving our targeting systems through developing a social registry. So these and some of the various interventions that we have sponsored in the National Development Plan 4 will enable us uplift and move coverage for social protection from where it is to somewhere closer to where we have majority of our persons protected from risks and vulnerabilities that they face. Social protection or risks and vulnerabilities are across the life cycle. They keep occurring. There is no timeline that you must achieve this by a particular time. Of course, we're informed by the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG targets, that help us as a country to try and benchmark our progress towards this, and that is what we also try and benchmark ourselves to. But we also alive to the National Development Plan, which has specific timelines. NDP 3 is just ending, and we're starting NDP 4. And as well, when we implement these interventions, we try to benchmark ourselves to the timelines provided in these frameworks.
Now, the State Minister for Water and Environment, Honorable Beatrice Anywar, has called on Ugandans to embrace the individual responsibility that's in protecting the environment. Speaking at Laudato Si Season of Creation Symposium held at Our Lady of Africa Kindergarten Hall under the theme, Hoping and Acting with Creation, Honorable Beatrice Anwar emphasized the importance of conscious actions in safeguarding the environment.
So I'm really very happy that I've been invited by the Outdoor Center for this, I can call it nexus of nature and our spiritual faith. Indeed, it has been a missing link because what we do in the environment stems from our conscience. And if a person doesn't have a conscience, doesn't really reflect or act rightly, because the inner voice which directs all of us would have been dead, but has been actually silent more on environment. That is why you see the degradation of our environment is by our own activities. Now, these activities must be calmed from individual conscious. How do you stop your own self from littering? This is accumulative activities of all of us. So for today, this arrangement, we talk to the heart, we talk to the faith. That should really direct us to act responsibly when we are handling our environment. If we have that, and the Pope had already told us, destroying the environment is sinning. It is a sin because you are killing humanity. You are killing sustainability for our future generation. No, it is a sin. So once we take it from the conscience that it is a sin, then we shall act responsibly. So I had to put aside all other activities to come and interact with this. More so when I look at the generation, the future generation, to take this into their conscience, I think that fight will go to another level. So I want to celebrate this, and I want Ugandans and the world to look at it from the conscious perspective. It is your belief. Do you believe that we need to conserve our environment? Do you believe what you are acting negatively impacts negatively to the environment? Do you know that you are destroying humanity? Do you know that we are commanded to live in peace with the nature? Why did God create the universe and put us in different places? Why are we really invading the areas of nature?
Laudato Si movement is a very strong movement which is talking about or amplifying the encyclical of Pope Francis about the caring for the nature, and this is picked from the words of St. Francis of Assisi. It is true that the world is facing a lot of challenges as far as climate change is concerned, water, as far as pollution is concerned, and biodiversity loss. And all these are causing scarcity and conflicts around the world. Most of the conflicts being experienced around the world are natural resource-based and nature-based conflict because people are competing for resources. Today, as we celebrate this day, especially with the theme of hope and act, is for the collective action, especially focusing here on waste management, I think it is very important that we should think about waste, the sources of waste.
Just briefly about Laudato Si, it's an organization that was founded by the Comboni missionaries in Uganda for environmental conservation. Our main purpose is to advocate for environmental protection. This is something that, as a church, we think that the role to protect the environment is not only the work of government to advocate for it, but our Pope Francis invites us and all people that the earth is our mother earth, and all of us have the responsibility to protect it, to conserve it. And Laudato Si Center Comboni Uganda was started in 2023 here at Our Lady of Africa Parish, Mbuya. And our main work is to educate people, and also we go around the country. We're starting with here in Kampala, educating people about the importance of environmental conservation.
So I'm basically going to talk about Laudato Si. So as our school, we have set up different projects to do, like to conserve the environment, like making pavers out of plastics, reusing different plastics, and also other projects. So basically Laudato Si tells us what we should do to conserve the environment and how we are degrading it for the better of our future.
And in the environmental club, we aim at conserving the environment, whereby we as the environmental club members have identified the key aspects that leads to the downfall of our Mother Earth. And we discovered that whatever we do in life, it hinders the earth. It hinders the earth from producing its offsprings, the way we cut down trees and carry out other activities. For example, this climatic change has caused different rainfall patterns. That's why we keep on receiving different kind of rainfall patterns. For example, in this month it can decide to rain and the remaining it does not. So that is due to our human activities.
And that marks the end of our bulletin this evening. It has been surely nice having you until tomorrow. For now, from the entire team behind the scenes and we wish you a lovely evening and a good night.